Man.
What's the process been like getting on the same page as Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah, man, it's been a process. Like that's the best way you can describe it. Just a process. You got to start somewhere, and then the next day you want to be a step ahead of that. And that's been the way we've been looking at it. That's been the way we went about it. So, I got to realize that there's 10, 12 of us that are all trying to get on the same page with them. So it's how we got to go about it. We just got to when we get our reps, they got to be the most important reps, and that's all we can really do right now.
What's the how Brady is? Because you can see his what he's accomplished in his career, the Super Bowl, the Pro Bowls, the All Pros. But what makes him different in your eyes now that you've been on the field with him OTAs, minicamp training day?
I mean, just his football intelligence, and then it's really not just football. It's everything. But we play football. That's what we end up talking about most of the time, and it's different, man. He's a historian. He knows the game at a level that I haven't seen before. And then, when you have 18, 19 years under your belt, I'm sure that comes with it. But I feel like he started a little ahead. He's a great person to talk to about ball. And because of the work he's put in and how he goes about his business in the off season. I mean, he loves ball, and you can tell.
What was he trying to relay to you there by the goal line? I noticed him saying something to you. What was he talking about?
I think I had busted a play, man. So he probably get right, that type of thing. Just get right, make sure you're on your details. Something that needed to be said, man. He's great about that, and me personally, I want to be as good as I can be. I want to get better every day, and I feel like he's helping me get there, man. He doesn't slouch. He doesn't slouch on any of the details. He doesn't beat around the bush. He's straightforward. He's going to tell you what we got to work on, what we got to do better, and that's how I want it.
What's the biggest difference you feel in yourself right now compared to when you walked in here last year for training camp?
Just the confidence. The confidence, knowing what I'm getting into at this point of the year. Knowing what things like this are going to be like on the field, whatever it may be. It's just a confidence level. When you have a year under your belt and you go through things like I did last year, you feel good about going into the next year, and you just kind of back to what I was saying earlier. You just want to get better every step, every day, every year, and that hasn't changed. I feel like I have a great level of confidence, but now I got to go out there and keep stacking, and that's the goal.
What have you noticed the vibe like this year compared to last year?
It's a great vibe, whenever you get to come out here and play ball and it's day one and you got some new faces, it's always a good vibe. But when you got Aaron, it's cool. He brings a little vibe with him too, and the expectations being high is the way that we strive as athletes. We love that. We want to have expectations to meet. No one to feel like they're being slept on or anything like that, and that's the vibe around here, and it's cool. It puts a little chip on our shoulder, and now we got to go do it on Sundays, and it all starts now.
Alan said that he sees similarities already with you and Devontae Adams, but I'm just curious, what aspect of your game specifically are you trying to take to another level? We know you can contort your body in the air, your catch radius, I don't know if it's second level speed or just moves off the line.
Yeah.
Like for you, what are you trying to, what aspect?
Yeah, just the consistency getting off the line, depending on whatever DB I'm getting on when I get press coverage, I just want to be able to consistently get in my route as fast as possible. And having guys like Sauce and DJ to go up against every day at practice is helping me get there for sure. But, this started 3, 4, 5, 6 months ago, as far as my training in the offseason. And, it's cool to be able to see what I did in the offseason and how it's coming together now. So, obviously, I got a lot of work to do, and I always want to improve on something every day. And that's been one of my focuses so far.
Speaking of that training, what did you do specifically to try to get ready for the season?
Yeah, I don't even know if I can say this. I play a lot of basketball in the offseason. And that's how I grew up, during my offseason. That's how I grew up in college. That's how we did it in college. So it's familiar for me, but it also works on different muscles that, I don't get to touch during the season. And I think it translates really well, and besides the football stuff, I feel like basketball is the one thing where it's a little different. I do everything that everyone does. You go work with the receiver coach. You go get the routes in with your quarterback. But I feel like that's the one thing I do that may be a little different than my peers and the people that, our competition.
Well, what can you take from the basketball court that can help you on the football field?
I mean, really a lot of it. So, rebound for me, translates to a jump ball. And then, getting the ball and just having the ISO thing, a triple threat is a release. How can you make the defender move in a certain way and attack the rim, and that's just getting into your route. So, basketball always made it easier for me to verbalize. I verbalized my football stuff when I was a kid in basketball terms. And because of that, you know, I feel like I still got to go play. I still got to spend that time. I grew up in a basketball family. You know, none of us ended up playing. My dad played, but we're supposed to be a basketball family, you know. And because of that, you know, it just all clicks for me better when I'm talking hoops, you know.
Would you ever think about playing in like Rucker Park or anything like that too during the off season?
I ain't gonna lie, yeah, I would, but you know, I gotta check the base and make sure that's all right. But usually it's just lifetime. But Rucker Park would be cool, man. I grew up watching people play there. That'd be awesome.
When you like, speaking a little bit on basketball, when people talk about you and some of your strengths, it's the route running and all, but it's more you get to a place on the field and then just find a way to get open in that place. Does that come a little bit from basketball? Like, can you draw any bit of?
Yeah, I mean, it might. A lot of it just comes from reps, and I used to play quarterback as well. So, like, you know, finding the zones is kind of a natural feel. I can't say a lot of that stuff I worked at, you know, as far as finding the zones and holes in defenses. I like to think that, you know, I just developed that after seeing coverages and seeing different defenses, and that's why I think I'll be better at it this year, you know, because of, you know, just the year I have under my belt and the coverages that come with being in the NFL that we didn't see as much in college, you know. So, yeah, you know, I feel like basketball may have something to do with coming meeting the ball in those zones. You know, definitely is something that we emphasized when I was growing up and hooping, and I feel like it translates to this point. But I can't say it helps me see the defense better. I don't think it does. But
the background at quarterback, you given Aaron any tips and pointers?
I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, he just like he comes and, you know, gets me right. I done got him right a few times. Yeah.
Do you see similarities between you and Davante Adams?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I grew up watching him play, man, and he was my favorite receiver growing up. And you know, when you're a young kid watching, you don't really realize, but you're trying to steal something from everyone's game, whether it's OBJ or Devontae, Stephon Diggs, and yeah, man, I was always someone that loved watching the game, and I tried to take a lot of things from what he did well, but man, he's special, and you can see the lab work that he puts in all throughout the offseason, all through this time, and it's special to watch. So, you know, I got a long way to go before I get to that point.
What's the one thing that you hope you have stolen from him?
His releases, how he gets off the ball. It's second to none. Devontae's a man, for sure.
Garrett, how do you feel about your progress learning the offense right now? How do you feel about your progress learning the offense, and how much has it helped to have Allen as like a translator?
Allen has helped tremendously, man. Allen is just the way he goes about, you know, being in the meeting room and being out on the field makes it easier on me because he's going to share the knowledge. He's not going to, you know, hold it to himself. He wants everyone to be on the same page. And Allen and Randall have been a huge help with that, and then also with the translation from Aaron and how the lingo they use. But you know, I feel like I'm where I should be right now as far as learning the offense, and you know, we're all kind of in the same area. You know, we know it, but you know, there's a lot of nuances to it. That's the difference this year. You know, it's a similar offense to what we ran last year, and if you play ball, you love ball, you know what we're running. We're running West Coast offense. And
when you talked to Allen, he was not shy about saying Super Bowl. Is it hard coming in with those expectations? Are you sharing those expectations?
Yeah, I ain't gonna fake it. You know, that's what we play the game for. I play to win the game. I'm not gonna beat around the bush, man. We want to win a Super Bowl, and you know, you don't make moves in the offseason like we did unless you're trying to get there. You know, that's the mindset, and like I said, you know, we want to have those expectations as athletes. No one wants to feel like no one's, you know, got an eye on y'all or no one expects anything out of y'all. You know, we love that, and you know, that's the mindset that we're embracing in our facility. You know, we know where we want to get, and you know, personally, I think it's okay to talk about it. You know, if you want to go get that or get it, talk about it. It's cool, you know. So I love that Allen's doing it. You made it easier on me. I ain't want to say nothing, but I'm glad Allen doing it first. I'll go next for sure.
You had great individual numbers last year. Do you think by adding a Hall of Fame level quarterback, you can take those numbers to a different place?
I mean, I don't know, man. That's nothing I'm worried about right now. You know, I feel like it'll come naturally if we're playing good ball. You know, I feel like I'll handle my business. If we're winning games, if we're moving the ball on offense, it'll come naturally. You know, we got a great receiver room that, you know, 1 through 7, 1 through 6, we can all go off and we can all make plays and we can all go get the ball. So for me, you know, this is where I wanted to be. I wanted to be in a place where you know, we had high expectations and you know, I have expectations for myself, but at the end of the day, those come second to everything that we want to do here. And I've always been a believer that if I you know, go about things the right way, you know, do everything for my team, it'll take care of itself. And
last one here. Have you had that moment where Aaron threw you a ball and it just hit your hands differently? It sounded differently?
Yeah, bro. that boy is cold. So like every time, for real, he puts it on the money, and I don't know, it's still a little what's the word I'm looking for? It's a little surreal, you know, to have him throwing the ball. It hasn't sank all the way in yet, but it will, and I'll get used to it. It'll just be where the ball's at. I mean, I don't know. It hasn't really. I haven't thought about it too much, but it kind of always is. I ain't gonna lie. He's, you know, that first pass all the way till now, it's still like, that's Aaron throwing that. That's a dot, you know. It's just the reality of it. It's special.
Thank you, everyone.
Appreciate y'all, man. Y'all take care. Yeah.
Alan, how has the adjustment gone for you, you know, all spring and through now?
It's been crazy, honestly. I won't say overwhelming, but there's just been a pickup of pace of life and everything, of just being able to adjust here to New York, the style of life, the people, the cameras, all this stuff. But honestly, I was telling my coaches I'm so happy camp's starting so I can ignore people and put my phone down and just focus on football once again, because that's what I truly love. And, you know, my goals and aspirations are so high, especially going into this year, this next chapter of my life, this next chapter of my career. Just be able to focus and be able to accomplish things I want to do.
What are some of those things that are your goals?
Super Bowl, you know. But that's always been the main objective since I was 5 years old playing the game, of just thinking about holding up that Lombardi trophy at the end of the season in February and everything. So that's never changed. And even once I do accomplish that, it'll still be the same thing. But it'll just be solidifying it more and just keep on growing on and off the field.
How do you go from the guy, you know, who had the chip on his shoulder when you're fighting for a roster spot, and now
I stink right now.
you got the big contract, right? You got I saw a thing the other day, you got the largest wide receiver contract this offseason. How do you keep that drive in there now that you're kind of at a different level? Yeah,
I mean, going back to what, you know, my goals and aspirations were in the Super Bowl, it wasn't to be the highest paid going into the offseason. It wasn't to make a set amount of money. You know, my goals and dreams have always been to leave people with a memory, impact them in a positive way. You know, that's kind of just the way I've approached life. That was the way I was raised and everything. So no matter what accomplishment, what achievement, what awards, no matter what dollar figures in my bank account, that'll always stay the same.
Alan, now that Aaron's here, can you tell us truthfully how sure you were that he was going to be your quarterback when you signed here?
There's probably like a 8-hour period of time where I'm like, what the fuck, bro? And he was like, it's gonna happen. And I was like, all right, you know, we obviously had a very deep conversation and talked about the possibilities of where he would go, where I would go. Not to say that him coming here was the only reason why I came here, or me coming here was the only reason why he didn't want to retire or stay in Green Bay per se, but, you know, I knew he was doing everything he could do, and a lot of the hype around, like, why is it not happening? It's like, well, he had no control. You know, he would have been done it way before then. So you just had to kind of let things happen with the off season. You know, I know you guys are bored. There's no football going on, so you have to write stories and, you know, make up stuff and say this and that. So, yeah, I didn't really worry too much. At that time, I was training with him out in California, and so I was seeing him at least probably 2-3 times a week and stuff. So maybe if I wasn't there, there'd be a little bit more worry, but I was pretty confident.
How hungry and motivated do you sense he is?
Extremely, extremely.
How do you see that?
How do I see that?
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, when I first met him back in 2018, 2019, just his approach to workouts, to walkthrough, to practice and every day. And that's what like kind of really helped me get to that level of just seeing how much of a professional he was. And I'm still seeing that same person here every single day. And I'm seeing it even more so with the fact of how much he's opening up his arms, putting his hand out, trying to help guys, trying to teach. You know, not to say that he was hard to play with at first in Green Bay. He was a little bit more, you guys got to pick up. But he's a little bit slower here and realizing that, you know, there's a lot of new players. You know, the cadence that he has, the way that he calls plays, the timing of routes, his anticipation. You know, he plays in this state of flow. and just kind of just letting the game happen and everything. And so when you have 11 guys to be able to play like that, that's when beautiful plays are able to happen, magic's able to happen on that field. So he's taking his time. I'm seeing it. I'm seeing how much he cares for these guys and how much he really just wants to, you know, really put the icing on the cake as far as his career and everything.
How did you first catch his eye as an, if you could take us back to Rodgers, as an undrafted guy? How does an undrafted guy catch a Hall of Famer's eye that you earn his trust?
A lot of people ask me that question. And why don't you guys ask him?
It's hard to get a question off.
Fair enough. But what I would assume was just the way I approach practice, the way I approach games, you know. The first day of the off-season back in 2019 when we got Coach LaFleur and the new staff and everything, Coach LaFleur made everyone get up and switch their seats. He was sitting by himself, and me just being me, I'm like, well, if I should be close to anyone, it's probably this guy. And so I think that just kind of started our relationship right there. He saw my talent, I guess you could say, and, you know, really how much I just wanted to, you know, leave everything I had on the field. I think that's the biggest thing with him. He just wants to know that, especially guys that are receiving the ball, catching the ball, that they're giving their all to help him, to help the team be successful. And, you know, just because I'm not the fastest, I'm not the strongest, I'm not the best at everything, you know, he knows that I'm going to give everything I can to help the team and help him.
To what degree do you find yourself teaching, given your...
Can you say that again, sorry?
To what degree do you find yourself teaching?
What grade?
To what degree?
Degree.
Do you find yourself teaching?
Yeah, I'm pretty much like a teacher assistant at this point, you know. A lot of the coaches are learning Aaron, learning Hackett's philosophy with the schemes and everything. And, you know, I've been very fortunate in my career, which is extremely rare. What I've realized is to be able to stay in the same system, with the same language, with the same quarterback. And so I'm pretty fluent. And sometimes I got to dumb myself down a little bit so I can make it more receivable for other guys, because I've just been doing it for so long, it's just become second nature at this point.
So is this the Packers offense that you guys are importing?
It's the Aaron Rodgers offense. When he's on the field, you know, the whole playbook's open at any given time. Even during day one of practice, you know, he might pull up a signal, he might do something that we never talked about in meetings. He did that yesterday in the first walkthrough of, you know, I'm not going to get into what it is, but like just the intricacies of the offense and everything. But because he's able to do that, and if we're able to play on that level, that's what makes playing defense so hard, because you just never know. He's always got a counter to whatever you're trying to do to prevent us from being successful.
We'll take a few more. Alan Roberts was talking about how Hack has an interesting way of coaching. He said he's very comfortable in his own skin, which gives players the freedom to talk.
Yeah.
How would you describe that, and can you give us an example of how that manifests?
Very comfortable in his skin. And I think that's very, for a player to see a coach be very comfortable and to be just free, so to speak, helps us be free. And, you know, this job's very serious, and the expectations, the standards, the margin for error is very small. And so to be able to go out there and to be able to play without thinking and just playing with reaction, you know, and a lot of the game of football is improv. That's what people really don't understand. We can run these plays 1,000 times, but on game day we may get a different look, and the right guard may trip over the tackle, and then Aaron's got to scramble out of the pocket, and then we just got to be able to play together and stuff. So when you're able to teach that way, when you're able to coach that way, it helps players be able to learn and realize that, like, it's not always going to go how we talk about it in the meeting room. And we just got to be able to go out there and just make plays happen.
As everyone's out here day one trying to build continuity, you know, what does it feel like to be a part of what's being instilled here, being a part of the Aaron Rodgers offense?
Cool, I guess, you know. It's Aaron Rodgers, you know. Just to be able to play alongside him, going back to 2019, you know, someone that I've obviously looked up to when it comes to football and everything. But, you know, I've gained so much more respect for him, just growing our relationship and seeing what he's done off the field as well. Things that he's been able to stand up for, things that he's been able to lean in against, especially when it comes to the narrative and what people try to portray him as and everything. So to be able to share the field with him is a huge honor, and that's why I play the way that I do.
What have you thought
thought of Garrett, and what do you think his potential is?
Garrett's incredible. You know, I see a lot of resemblance as far as Devontae and stuff. To me, Devontae's the best in the league, hands down. It's clear as day. But there's a lot of things that they do, mannerisms, personalities, abilities, that resemble each other. And I was able to join the team kind of when Devontae was really taking that next step in his career, kind of solidifying himself as a top receiver, and he is where he is now. But I'm seeing a lot of those same attributes, obviously, in year 2 of Garrett. And it's just something that's just built into him and stuff. So I know Aaron has, and I am. I'm just trying to teach him the intricacies of things that he can just add to his game to help him get to that next level.
When you had those conversations with Aaron about playing here, you clearly decided that the pros of playing in the biggest media market outweighed the cons. What was the biggest positive that inspired you to make this decision, and what was the biggest negative that you overlooked?
Biggest positive? Playing with Aaron Rodgers. Again, you know, the comfortability of not having to learn a new offense, develop the chemistry with the new quarterback, and yeah, just kind of be able to continue what we've already been growing. The negative, taxes. That's a big hit.
And with that, I think we're done.
Thank you, guys.
Amen.